Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Race 14 of 25 here in Season 8 of the NOSSCAR X2 Series, coming your way from Auto Club Speedway. We've passed the halfway mark of the season. These drivers are really starting to pile on the wins in the top 5, so it's all about your 8 highest points totals from races that determine your total amount of points in the standings. So these drivers are still very close together, looking for another win or another solid finish here today. However, we are racing with heavy hearts today here at Auto Club Speedway. These drivers now have begun their 2 pace slaps in memory and in honor of our good friend Mananger. Raced full time with us here in the NOSSCAR Esports Series on NASCAR 15 Victory Edition, passing away recently, unfortunately. And he will be missed by us all and by his family and many more. He drove the number 2 Ford with a CarQuest logo on the hood in the later days of his NOSSCAR Esport racing career. So many of these drivers have made a custom car to look like Mananger's car, or have put a number 2 on their car somewhere. There you saw on Caleb Lopez's 95, he has a blue 2 on the side of his race car. It's a sad time for us all. Without a doubt, the most humble, respectful, professional, and just downright caring and kind person that we have ever had race in the NOSSCAR Esport Racing Series. He would often stay in the race lobbies long after the night's races were done, just to stick around and talk to everybody, compliment the new drivers on top 10 finishes, and make new friends and cheer us up and get us looking forward to next week. It's Brian Wiggins running the number 17 car on the outside of row 2. When Mananger first started with us here in NOSSCAR, that is the car that he drove, the Ricky Stenhouse number 17 Ford. And there you saw Brian Wiggins giving a nice gesture bump to the right side of the 06 car, driven by Jordan Green, who is on the pole for today's event. These guys all saluting each other and giving each other little gentle nudges here as they come around. They will be going green at the start-finish line this time by. Not for themselves, not for NOSSCAR, but for Mananger. It is the Mananger 100, race 14 of 25 here in Season 8 of the NOSSCAR X2 Series. Drivers ready to go, and the green flag is out for Mananger. And for lap 2, we will be going silent here in the commentary booth in honor and in tribute to the life and memory of Mananger, John Alexopoulos. Not the start that the driver of the number 2 wanted. Remember, Tyler won at Richmond, dedicated it to Mananger, qualified second. He's now slipped to the 6th position. Jordan Green shot out of a cannon. He's your race leader. Caleb Lopez in 2nd. Eddie Fikes in 3rd. Frank Edwards in 4th. Brian Wiggins in 5th as we go silent for lap 2 for Mananger. lap 2 here at Auto Club Speedway. We are now working lap 3. We saw Jeffrey Robinson Jr. in the 42 car, that black Chevy, all over the back bumper of McMurter a moment ago. McMurter brushes the wall coming out of turn 2. And we also saw the white number 2 on the side, just to the right of the big 42. We saw a white number 2 on the side of the car of Jeffrey Robinson Jr. in tribute to Mananger. There's also a number 2 on Ty Bond's number 8 Chevy. Really like the look of that red and white Dale Earnhardt Jr. looking Chevy, running inside the top 10 just behind Caleb Lopez. They're all chasing Jordan Green. Frank Edwards just worked his way to second in that number 78 car. He's on a mission. He would love to win today for Mananger. Those two knew each other for a very, very long time. In fact, most of the drivers here in today's race knew Mananger very well and considered him a very close friend. Side-by-side battle there. Oh, and there's a car against the wall. I couldn't tell who it was, but they're going to lose a number of positions, and they were inside the top 5. Side by side, as I was saying, is Caleb Lopez in the 95, Jeffrey Robinson Jr. in the 42. Looks like Jeffrey's going to surrender that spot. Whoa! Looks like Eddie Fikes hit the outside wall coming out of turn 2, and he shot down on the apron. Thankfully, the inside wall is not right close to the racing surface at this racetrack. He had plenty of room to gather it back up, and he's still working that car inside the top 5. In fact, he's trying to make a pass on Frank Edwards, and that's for second. Brian Wiggins running in 4th in that number 17 car. Again, that's the car that Mananger originally joined NOSSCAR and drove with. And that's who they're chasing right there. Jordan Green, your race leader, by a good 20 car lengths or more over second place, Eddie Fikes. Looked like Frank Edwards running in 3rd, scraped the wall as he entered turn 3. Brian Wiggins wasn't quite able to capitalize. He's still going to ride along in 4th. McMurter running in 5th. Jeffrey Robinson Jr. running in 6th. And it's a war for 7th on back, being led by Caleb Lopez, Ty Bond, and they were being followed closely by several others, but we don't really see any drivers following Ty Bond close in the frame there. It's Daniel Harmon behind Ty Bond, currently scored in the 9th position. Just to update you on the car that did not load their paint job in this race. It was Dustin McClintock in the number 30. It was his paint job that did not load, and it was him that was running inside the top 5 when he got loose coming out of turn 2 and made contact with the outside wall, losing a ton of track time and a ton of track position. He's currently scored in the 10th position. Battle for 4th and 5th. It looks like Tyler's going to drive past Frank. Frank in the 78 car settles into 5th. Jeffrey Robinson Jr. in 6th. All over the back bumper of both these guys now. Eddie Fikes running comfortably in 2nd with Brian Wiggins in 3rd. Remember, Eddie drives for Wood Dog Motorsports, and that is owned and operated by Brian Wiggins, and he must like what he see. One of his drivers is in front of him in the second position. It's a 40-lap race here at Auto Club Speedway, in memory and in tribute to the life of Mananger. Jordan Green has led every lap since the drop of the green flag. And I'm not sure what happened to Frank Edwards, but he's no longer scored in the 6th position. Caleb Lopez has taken 6th. In fact, Ty Bond just passed Frank for the 7th position. So put Frank in the 78 back into 8th. Never mind. Frank Edwards just came off of pit road, so put Frank outside the top 10 and put Jerry Ashley up into the 8th position with Daniel Harmon right behind him in 9th. And Destin McClintock rounding out the top 10. Caitlin Lohr running 11th. Frank Edwards running in 12th. 12 cars left in the race here at Auto Club Speedway. Lots of debris on the front straightaway that these drivers all need to kind of dodge. Jeffrey Robinson Jr. makes a nice pass on Tyler McMurter, and he's going to take that 4th place position away. Put Jeffrey up to P4, put Tyler back to P5. And the car behind Tyler in P5 is Frank Edwards, running in the 11th position right now. Currently the first car 1 lap down. Lots more cars are now coming down pit road. We saw one car zoom down pit road. Remember, in the NOSSCAR X2 Series, the cautions are off, and in all 5 of the NOSSCAR sanctioned eSport Racing Series hosted on NASCAR 15, there are no black flags. Black flags cause drivers to disconnect from the race lobby even if they are not the one who receives the black flag. So black flags are always off, and these drivers are free to fly at Mach 1 speeds down pit road. And they just hope and pray that they don't miss that orange cone. So you don't have enough fuel to limp it back around for one more lap, and you miss pit road, it could be the end of your race. And that was Destin McClintock coming off of pit road there. Remember, his paint job did not load for today's event. We're seeing what fresh tires can do. Frank Edwards has made his pit stop already, and he was able to fly past Tyler McMurter in the 2. Destin McClintock about to do the same. Looks like Tyler in the 2 is going to dive down pit road. He was able to stay out and lead a lap. That is key. That's a bonus point. However, he was losing some very crucial track time to the drivers running on fresh tires. We're going to have to see how this all shuffles out, but we do know that it's going to be Jordan Green leading this race once it all cycles through. He is ahead of all the drivers that have made pit stops already, and we know he's going to pass these drivers that are on pit road right now, and that's Daniel Harmon and Tyler McMurter. Daniel Harmon is away in the 62 car. Has a special design to the 2 in that 62 car on his car in tribute to Mananger. And after the cycle of green flag pit stops, Jordan Green is your race leader. Oh, and it looks like Ty Bond is out of fuel in turns 3 and 4. He has missed pit road, we're getting a report. So now this is him creeping around at very, very slow minimum speeds. He is going to make it to pit road, but by the skin of his teeth. He's currently scored in the 11th position. He's not the only one. We're getting a report that Jerry Ashley in the 15 car also missed pit road. He needed to come back around and try again. Auto Club Speedway is one of the easier pit roads to enter, but that's also what makes it harder. when you're allowed to run as fast as you possibly can entering pit road, and if it's easy to build a top speed while doing so, these drivers all tend to push the envelope and push the limit, trying to get every bit of time that they can during the cycle of pit stops. Jordan Green, Eddie Fikes, Brian Wiggins, Tyler McMurter, your top 4. As you can see, Daniel Harmon has elected to drive a Ford for this event and for the Richmond race. He normally drives a Chevrolet, but driving a Ford for the last 2 races here in honor of Mananger. NOSSCAR has decided to dedicate 2 races to Mananger rather than 1, rather than a full season. Dedicate 2 races, just like the number that Mananger used to drive on his car. We're going to take a break from commentary. You're watching the NOSSCAR X2 Series race at Auto Club. It's the Mananger 100. Jordan Green leading the way in the 06 car. Eddie Fikes, Brian Wiggins, Tyler McMurter. That is your top 5. Jeffrey Robinson Jr. in 3rd. Brian Wiggins in 4th, Tyler McMurter in 5th. That is your top 5. We'll be right back. The battle for 4th is on. Brian Wiggins in the 17, Tyler McMurter in the 2. Remember, the 2 will be retired here in NOSSCAR eSport Racing for all 5 series on the NASCAR 15 Victory Edition video game. So Tyler McMurter running the number 2 car for the final time here today in the Auto Club race. He won the Richmond race in the number 2. But so far it looks like it's going to be Jordan Green in the 06 car with a paint job that looks almost identical to the Mananger car. Looks like he's going to pay tribute to Mananger by winning so far, and he's got a sizable lead over 2nd place Eddie Fikes. McMurter now takes 4th from Brian Wiggins. Jeffrey Robinson Jr. running in 3rd. He's having a great race in that number 42 car. And that's exactly what he needs. He's inside the top 10 in points coming into this race. And it's all about your 8 highest points totals from races that determine your total amount of points in the point standings. So a couple more top 5s, top 3s, and that eliminates some other finishes out of those 8 highest points totals that might be a little lower in score. And then that's what boosts you up the point standings. Jerry Ashley now inside the top 10 in the point standings after the Richmond race, and he's hoping to keep the momentum going. Perhaps get another top 10, top 5 finish here at Auto Club. Some drivers are beginning to make their 2nd pit stop of the race. These are all scheduled. We saw Jeffrey Robinson Jr. dive down pit road. He was running in the 3rd position. Brian Wiggins has already made his pit stop. We see him now in a 17 exiting pit road. Whoa, looks like Tyler in the 2 got a little wide in turns 1 and 2, and he makes contact with the outside wall, showing the age of those tires. And you saw him scooting around a little bit there, wiggling back and forward. Maybe he thinks he's got something on them. Frank Edwards in the 78 car now right behind him. I was about to say, whoa, and around goes Frank Edwards. He was catching McMurter. He's got the much fresher tires, and he made contact with the outside wall. And there's a thing in this world of NASCAR 15 Victory Edition that we like to call the wall glitch. You make minor contact, but instead it slingshots you about a quarter of a mile down the racetrack. It looked to be what did it for Frank Edwards. He settled into behind Dustin McClintock there, who is currently scored in the 4th position, or excuse me, the 2nd position. The 2 cars yet to make their 2nd scheduled pit stop are Tyler McMurter in the 2, Dustin McClintock in the 30. They are currently scored 1 and 2 right now. And the thing is that we think that the drivers who made their 2nd pit stop about 4 laps ago are going to be a little bit short on gas. We think that the drivers that pitted anywhere from now to about 2 laps ago, maybe 3, we think that they're going to be alright. Tyler McMurter coming down pit road is about 2-3 laps to the good. And he's coming in for service. There you see Daniel Harmon on pit road in the 62. He's now leaving his pit stall. He's been given the 4 fresh tires to make it to the end of the race. And the original strategy call for Tyler was going to be 2 tires and a splash of fuel. But instead they decided to go against that and take 4 tires and go down on the tire pressures on the right side a little bit. Evidently a splash of fuel they didn't think would be enough to get them to the end. And the strategy has went out the window for McMurter in the 2. He is now currently scored in the 6th position, 5th now, as he passed Jerry Ashley there in the 15 car. Jerry is still yet to make his scheduled pit stop. That's why Jerry was up there in the top 5. He was involved in an early incident which put him behind the 8 ball from the early going, or else we know Jerry in the 15 will be up there battling for the lead. He's very competitive, very fast here at Auto Club and at all the large ovals that we go to. And something happened to Eddie Fikes. We're not sure exactly what, but we can tell you that right now it's Jordan Green, Jeffrey Robinson Jr., Brian Wiggins, and Tyler McMurter, your top 4. Just in front of McMurter, the battle for 2nd is on between Jeffrey in the 42 and Brian in the 17. Brian normally drives the number 5 Chevy, but driving the number 17 in tribute to Mananger, being that was the very first car Mananger drove in NOSSCAR competition. And McMurter on the 3 or 4 lap fresher tires is running both these drivers down. The question is, does he have enough time? We now have only 7 laps to go here in the Mananger 100 at Auto Club Speedway. You can head over to NOSSCAR.com/X2 Series to find out where your favorite driver is seated in the point standings. If you scroll down, you can see the all-time wins list, all-time poles list, the past race results. There's a whole lot you can learn from the X2 Series page on NOSSCAR.com. There's a little bit of a better look at the battle for second and third. It looks like Brian Wiggins is now going on the inside of Jeffrey. Makes a nice move on the inside. It's going to take second. See if we can back the camera out. There you go. There you see the 17 in front of the 42. The white and light blue 17. And the dark black number 42 car. Jeffrey's got a few top 5 finishes so far this season, but another one would certainly put him in the title hunt even further. If the drivers were to finish where they are right now, Jeffrey Robinson Jr. would be in 6th in the point standings. Jordan Green has about a 13-second lead on these drivers battling for second and third. There's Jerry Ashley in the 15. He's finally made his final pit stop of the race. 2 tires and a splash. And he's currently running inside the top 10, running 10th. 12 drivers left on the racetrack. And it is the top 8 that are running on the lead lap. Ty Bond, the first car, 1 lap down in 9th. Remember, we saw him run out of fuel at one point in this race, and he had to coast around and make it to pit road, and he just barely did. But that's kind of what has done him in, and that's what's put him 1 lap down in this event. Brian Wiggins still in front of Jeffrey Robinson Jr. So if Jordan Green runs out of fuel, Wiggins has put himself in position to capitalize and win this race. Three laps to go here in the Mananger 100 at Auto Club Speedway. And there's a slow car up ahead. I'm not sure who it is, but evidently they could not make it the distance on fuel. And it was Jerry Ashley in the 15 car. He's already made his final pit stop, so something must have happened, and he must have needed to come back down pit road. And we saw Brian Wiggins. He surrendered second place to Jeffrey Robinson Jr. Final lap in the Mananger 100 at Auto Club Speedway. And Brian Wiggins is out of gas. McMurter had to swerve to the inside to get around him, and that was for third. Jeffrey Robinson Jr. is sputtering on fumes. He let Jerry Ashley get by him. Jordan Green is going to win the Mananger 100. He dedicates it to the life and memory of our good friend Mananger, John Alexopoulos. Jeffrey Robinson Jr. finishes in second. Tyler McMurter third. We saw Ty Bond in the 8 car coasting. He just barely made it on fuel. Everyone was trying to salvage the gas, salvage the fuel, and make it to the end. Jordan Green does just that. Wins the Mananger 100. Jeffrey second, Tyler third, Brian fourth, Dustin fifth, Eddie in sixth, Daniel seventh, Caleb eighth, Ty Bond in ninth, Jerry Ashley rounding out the top 10, Frank 11th, Caitlin in 12th. What a race. 2 amazing races back to back, both won by drivers that had identical looking race cars that Mananger once drove here in the NOSSCAR Esports Series. Absolutely tremendous. Congratulations to Jordan Green winning here today at Auto Club. Congratulations to Tyler McMurter for winning at Richmond. Congratulations to Slade Gravitt for winning the Mananger 400 on NASCAR Heat 3 in the Impact Racing League and dedicating it to Mananger. We would also like to thank the commentary staff at Impact Racing League for putting on a tribute during the race and before the race for our good friend Mananger. And we would like to thank all the drivers who participated in the races this week in remembrance of our good friend John Alexopoulos, a.k.a. Mananger. Good night, everybody, and thanks very much for joining us. Jordan Green wins here at Auto Club.